baby, love me, baby, love me, baby. Love me, baby, love me, baby, love me, baby.
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another installment of the Manosphere. Coming up next, a beta male, a tragic story of a young man that believed what he was told and walked into a situation in which he never returned from. Coming up next, here on the Manosphere. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Manosphere. And if you haven't gotten the opportunity, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be sure to bring you the best content possible week after week. Anyhow, today I want to talk about the price of being a beta male cluck. Okay, now I'm not throwing shade, I'm not making jokes or anything like that concerning this. There was a time, in my life where I knew a guy that did everything possible to, give a woman his heart, give her the attention that she needed, did everything that a man, is supposed to do, so to speak. And this story, he ended up losing his life over it. And this is why, I actually have conversations with people from time to time, and I really voice my opinion about that thing. The things that people tend not to tell you, when you first get in a relationship with them, or even times in my life where I had gotten into situations, and there was one person in particular that I had gotten into a relationship with, and she didn't tell me the entire story. And it ended up that there was a situation, there was a confrontation, and some guy ended up, losing sight out of his left eye, and broken teeth, and a broken nose because of this. So this story that I'm about to tell you, it's a very serious situation. And guys, you cannot fall for the con every single time, because what will happen is that you will walk into a situation, you will not have all of the information that this woman or who you're dealing with is not telling you. And this happens, okay? And I'm not saying all women do it. I'm saying that sometimes that these women that you meet online don't tell you the whole story. Now, the same goes for men too, but in this case, I'm talking, and I was in that situation before. So in this case, I am talking about this young man that I knew early in my life. Well, here's the story. He was a guy. He was a guy I knew of and had come in contact with in high school from time to time. And well, what happened was that he had met this young lady, and and he had started talking to her around school. So what happened was they became friends, they became close. So one day she asked him to come over to her house, which was located in Humboldt Park in Chicago, which at that time, it wasn't no joke. That, there are hoods, and then there was Humboldt Park. Humboldt Park at that particular time when I was growing up, was a very, very dangerous spot. And it was, it was filled with gangs and things like that. And he went over to visit her. Well, what this young lady didn't tell him was that there was a psychotic ex-boyfriend that was one of one of the leaders, or he was involved, from what the story was told to me, that he was somewhere in the high ranking uh, section of this particular group. Okay, so what happened was that he went to visit this young lady, and and they were supposed to be doing homework. Okay, from what I understand. Okay, so he goes over there because her parents were gone that afternoon, and what have you. So, as the story has it, that this young man went to the young lady's house, and they spent some time together. They were doing homework, whatever. So word got back to this ex-boyfriend. And before I continue, this is why I have this thing where if there's a woman, and I've done this a lot, if there's a woman and there's an ex still involved, I don't mess with them. I mean, that's it. I do not mess with women that are still either one, hung up on their ex, or two, there's some kind of interaction going on. I just leave them alone. I really do. And that is my biggest pet peeve. And I've been burned more than one time with this situation. Okay? More than one time. So anyhow, this word got back to the ex-boyfriend, and the ex-boyfriend came over with some of his boys. Okay? Some of his, and they were they were asking the guy to come outside. They wanted to fight him because of this young lady. They wanted to actually fight this guy. Okay? He knew nothing about what was going on. He knew absolutely nothing. Well, the ex-boyfriend decided that he was going to, because I guess it was a first floor and a second floor. So he decided that he was going to go up to the second floor and pound on the door, and hoping that his ex-girlfriend would come out to talk to him. But instead, he kicks the door open. So there's the guy, the guy that she invited over. And the guy immediately, the ex, attacks this guy. Okay. So the guy must have been, sort of a skilled fighter and whatnot. So he ends up, kicking the crap out the guy. So the ex leaves. Okay. He leaves. So the girl tells the guy, after he kicks the crap out of the ex, "Oh, well, you better hurry up and leave. You better hurry up and leave." So before the guy could leave, the ex shows back up, has a gun, and he shoots the guy. He shoots the guy once, the guy goes down. Then he stands over him and he starts jacking him in the face with the gun. I mean, and I'm not talking about hitting him. I'm talking about he cold cocked the gun, and shot this guy in the face. Okay? This young man died for absolutely no reason. He wasn't involved in a gang. He was a straight A student. He was a straight A student, wasn't involved in a gang, wasn't, a guy that went around causing trouble. He was very popular around school. And this is what his life ended over. And this happens so often, and it is something that is not talked about. It is something that is not discussed. It is something that, well, a lot of people don't want to talk about, but this happens. And now with online dating and things like that, and people being able to creep around on their significant other, it happens a lot now. And the reason I'm making this video today, because I don't know why I thought about that particular situation, and thinking about it, I say, you know what? Here's something I have not really touched base on. Okay. And I think that to all of the guys out there, and women as well, that you have to be very careful of your choices and who you decide to hook up with or have something with. Hey, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with a hookup. But here's the thing. Make sure that that hookup does not come back to bite you in the ass. Okay? And I'll just say it like that. Make sure that when you hook up with somebody, that they're free and clear to hook up. Okay? That if you're going to get into a relationship with someone, that they are free and clear. That they are free and clear for you to go and pursue something with. I don't care if it's just whatever it is, whatever conditions that you decide that you're going to do, do things or whatever it is. Okay? So the moral of this story is, and I cannot emphasize this enough, when you decide that you're going to, get with someone, just make sure that all of their loose ends are tied. Just make sure that there are no loose ends. There are no, okay, well, I'm still communicating with my ex and things like that. No, none of that crap. Okay, not at all. This is a very serious situation. And I'm talking strictly to my guys out there, because come to find out, after this young man was murdered in this girl's house, guess what? Turns out he wasn't even an ex. He was not an ex-boyfriend. See where the lie comes in from? He was not even an ex-boyfriend. And this man, young man, okay, at the time I think he was like 16, 17. Yeah. Right now he would have been my age. And he lost his life. And the worst part about it was that it was a closed casket. His face was shot up so badly that the coroners could not do anything whatsoever to repair his face for his funeral. And like I said, this is a situation that not many people talk about. And this is a situation that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Because now with, like I said, social media, online dating, and the list goes on, that people have walked into traps. Okay? They meet somebody online. They decide that they're not going to meet them in a public place or anything like that when they want to go date and all this crap. they decide, and guys, we're so fucking stupid, okay, that we actually fall for the con. Okay? You don't you don't meet them in a public place. She sends you a couple of pictures and whatnot. Okay, she sends you a couple of pictures, nude pictures, of her boobs or, of her snatch and all this stuff. And guess what? You're so blinded, by these pictures that you're not really thinking, man, you know what? I don't really trust this situation. And I wrote this in my book called Surviving the Game: How to Survive in an Online Dating War Zone. Okay. And if you go to Amazon, you will be able to pick that book up. And I wrote that book back when I returned from London. And that book still stands true today because I had actually warned people in that book they have to be very, very careful out here. Doing this online crap, it is, it's dangerous. I don't care how many legal protocols that they're creating, okay, for these online dating apps. The bottom line is it is dangerous, okay? It is dangerous, and I am the first one to say that I would never suggest it. I think that if you met, a woman, now I'm talking to guys in this case, if you met a woman like in a grocery store or, you met her on the street or something like that, or any kind of social gathering, that's a good thing because at least, okay, back in my day, yeah, back in my day. Okay, anyhow, back in the day, you met a woman at a social gathering, okay, you exchanged numbers, okay, and then you talked. And you might have talked on the phone for, I don't know, the better part of, maybe a month or two before any of that crap took place. But you know what? Now with online dating and this tragic story of this guy that was too nice for his own good and ended up being such a beta that he went to this young lady's house in a bad area and lost his life because of the fact she didn't tell him that she was still dating this ex that was not only affiliated with a bunch of dangerous people, he was a dangerous person. And you know what? He never went to jail for it either. He murdered this guy that had a future, and he got away with it. And that could happen to any one of us that is not careful. Okay, that could happen to me if I'm not careful out here, which right now I am fine. I am fine in my situation in my life right now. I am good. I am fine. But if I were to be out there and trying to hook up and stuff like that, I would be a little more careful because, even when and after you hook up, when, you hook up with somebody, you meet somebody, now you got a relationship going on. Now you got to wonder, are they being 100% with you? I mean, and this is why I don't suggest, okay, I would never back it, condone it, or anything else with a man that will go travel far away just so he can get a piece, but not knowing that there is an ex still lurking about. And I've heard these situations more than one time, more than once. And these never end well. They never end well. Okay? And I'll just tell you this. For those of you that have Netflix and you know, that sort of thing, Netflix, Hulu, whatever, there's a movie called Adulterer. Okay? And it's last I heard it was on Netflix, but you can also find it here on YouTube. It was about a man that went home. Okay, hardworking guy, busting his ass every day. Hardworking guy went home, okay, in the middle of the afternoon to surprise his wife on their wedding anniversary. Okay, he walks in. There's a shot of her purse with her cigarettes out, and he's like, "Wait a minute, this is a little weird. Why is she home in the middle of the afternoon when she said she had to work a double shift?" Okay, so he decides that he's gonna walk upstairs. He goes upstairs. Now, as he's getting closer to the room, he starts to hear sounds of her getting her back blown out. Okay. She's getting ramrodded by this brother, man, and things. And he opens the door, the crack of the door and stuff, and he looks, and he's like, you got to see the movie. He's like, this brother was handling his business, okay? I mean, he was giving her the whole heave ho, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, so he goes back downstairs, he grabs his piece, he goes back upstairs, and he whacks both of them. Okay? So, not to go off into a rant or anything, the moral of this story and this week's episode of the Manosphere is for my boys out there to be very, very careful about who they're hooking up with online. And you know what? If you have to sit down and do and do some kind of a job interview, with these individuals and stuff, I would suggest doing it. Because you don't want to lose your life because all you wanted was a piece, of pie, as The Rock would put it. Or a piece of poontang pie. It's not worth it. Don't let the head below your belt affect the head up here. This is Will Martell saying so long. Coach Will Martell saying so long. And remember, every day above ground is a good day. And Coach Will Martell will be back here next week with more content. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Deuces.